Welcome back to Archangel Ministries. Today is going to be something a little bit different. We're going to start something new. Today we are going to touch on something that apparently is a controversial subject within the Christian community. And I hope to start bringing episodes like this to you more often. So, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and listen. Alright, everybody. Glad you decided to join me and hang out. Let's discuss something that here lately I've noticed quite a bit of controversy around, which is, needless to say, surprising. Or at least to me it is. And that would be all the controversy that is currently surrounding the film Sound of Freedom. Anyone that's been on social media undoubtedly has noticed that there is apparently at least 3 separate camps revolving around this motion picture. You have the newbies that went and watched this film, and it was their first real exposure to what happens in child trafficking. Then you have the second group. And as far as I can tell, the second group is really made up of what seems to be people who have severe trauma within their own lives that is never fully healed. So they've come out both guns blazing, attacking the film, attacking Tim Ballard, attacking Jim Caviezel, and attacking anyone that is actually supporting this film and what it's doing. Then in the third group, you have people that are like myself. I don't know Tim Ballard. I don't know Jim Caviezel. And so far, all of the quote-unquote evidence that group number 2 has been pushing seems to be really made up of nothing but memes and hearsay that they've copied and pasted from various sources on the internet. It's not to say that there's not at least a glimmer of truth behind some of it, but I've yet to come across anybody who's actually done the research and has presented evidence that I would deem worthy of an investigation or something that is irrefutable. So, why is that? Is it because these guys are so evil and so well connected that they're just that good? That they are the greatest actors to have ever walked the earth? Or is it because the evidence simply isn't there? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. And in another bout of truth, to be perfectly honest, I really don't care. Due to my research and stuff, I haven't found any evidence of any of the children that were rescued being abused or trafficked in any sort of way after Tim Ballard's work or anything else. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I'm saying that I have yet to find it. For me, this is something that's concerning. The reason being, how can we ever win this battle? How can we ever win this war? How can we continue to fight if those that should be supporting what we do are doing everything they can to tear it down? I mean, it's disheartening to a certain extent. I know I myself, just because I've told people they should at least go watch the movie and at least truly research Tim Ballard and this film and everything that goes into it and what they're talking about, they've actually tried to accuse me of still working for the enemy, still being a Satanist of some kind, which is actually pretty laughable in my opinion, for the simple fact, my typical response to them is, well, I have a couple questions for you. Question one is, how many children have you rescued? I'm betting the answer is 0. Question number 2. Through all your years of being online and on social media, what are your numbers? How much exposure have you really brought to this subject? Can the exposure that you've brought to this subject even hope to compare to what's going on with the current controversy surrounding Sound of Freedom? And my third question is, how many times have the pedos, the traffickers, the covens, the Satanists, how many times have they actually tried to take you out? And either financially, publicly, or ending your life for actually standing up for these children? Again, I'm betting that answer is very, very low. So, why are you attacking something instead of trying to work it to the benefit of those of us that are in the field and actually trying to rescue these kids? You're trying to tear down and destroy what we're working on building. The best way that I can phrase it is, do you not know how to fight? Do you lack any sort of logic in your actions and movement, or is it all based on emotion? Is your lizard brain really that much in control? I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not trying to be confrontational or combative. I'm asking a sincere question. By you attacking people like myself or my ministry partners, or even attacking other groups that are out there actually doing the work simply because they're trying to capitalize on the momentum right now, what are you actually doing? I don't see you out in the field conducting research and investigations on the traffickers and gathering evidence to actually try and take them down. I don't see you out on the streets at 3 a.m. in the morning watching a known pedophile as he's trying to predate on a child. And I certainly don't see you stepping in to stop that from happening. So I ask you again, what are you doing? I understand what it's like to suffer severe trauma. I understand what it's like to be molested as a child. I understand what it's like to be put through this abject horror and see the things that we've seen, experience the things that we've experienced. The difference between us is I refuse to let my emotions dictate my actions. So that's the reason why I'm even doing this show. I've told everyone that supports us, everyone that subscribed, that from day one, the moment we went public, my entire goal was to be as completely 100% transparent with our supporters as I possibly can. I can't give our people the names and locations and stuff of the cases we're working for protection of the children that we're trying to work for protection of even the adult victims we're trying to get out. But I can at least tell you what the case entails and what we're working on. I want you to know. It's very important to me that the people that support us see the fruits of the labor. It's very important to me for everybody to be able to see and witness exactly what the money they're trusting us with is going to. You know, I mean, I would be lying if I said that it wasn't disheartening to watch all of these attacks based on nothing more than memes and rumors on the internet. Unfortunately, without someone actually getting inside of Tim's organization, or someone like myself assisting with the security detail and stuff for someone like Jim Caviezel, we don't have first-hand accounts. We don't have the information we need to actually go public and disprove anything that they've said or show any sort of corruption within their own organizations. So without that, all we have is conjecture. All we have is theory. And to the public, theory means absolutely nothing. So by attacking and going on the offensive, all you're really doing is shooting yourself in the foot and damaging the potential movement that can develop out of this. Personally, I akin to it as a fight. Everybody knows that we are in a fight for the lives of the innocent. We are in a fight for our own lives and our own salvation against the enemy constantly. So let's say that some of these theories being pushed are true, right? For just one moment, let's say that this film and Ballard and Caviezel and Gibson and all these people are deep cover assets for the enemy, and that there's an ulterior motive to this film being released. Okay? If that's the case, what do we do? How do we approach it? You approach it the same way you would any fight. First thing is you respect your enemy and their capabilities. I said respect. I did not say over-exaggerate. I did not say, well, they can do this, this, and this, so my approach is going to be A, B, or C, right? No. Those of us who have been inside the covens, those of us who have spent our lives inside the realms of the Brotherhood or the Druidic Orders or anything like that, we know full well what these people are capable of. We know the amount of control and manipulation they have in the media. We know just how brutal they can be, how little they care for human life. We know this. So, in this particular situation, what do? Well, in a situation like this, assuming that any of this stuff is true, and we unfortunately won't know until the next punch is thrown, we capitalize on our opponent's momentum. Think of it as a fight where you're in view of the public, right? You know, you've got 20 people outside the store that you just walked out of, and someone comes up to you and, you know, they're trying to cause you physical harm, right? Let's say they're trying to mug you. They want to rob you. They're threatening your life, right? Let's say they've got the barrel of a gun held about 3 inches away from your face. Or better yet, they're pulling said weapon, right? Well, first thing you do is you counter their initial attack. If they're holding a gun, well, then you are going to take that gun and disarm them of that weapon, right? First things first. You gotta make sure that their main weapon is secured and away from them. So what's going to happen after that? Well, they're going to follow up with most likely a haymaker. Or at least your average thug will, because half of them don't know how to fight properly. So, when they do this, what do? Do you back away from it? Or do you charge in with such overwhelming brute force that anybody who missed the initial threat to your life would say that you flat out attacked them for no reason? Well, your best bet is to use their own momentum against them, right? You parry that haymaker, and then you strike with equal force. Okay? So, in this particular case, the haymaker that would be thrown is going to be the film. Alright? Well, let's say the film is a work of the enemy. Well, if that film's a work of the enemy, and all this publicity surrounding it's a work of the enemy, then we should be willing to step in and take that momentum and turn it to our advantage. We should be willing to address this subject publicly, agree with the things that are correct, disagree with the things that aren't, and capitalize on it. Because there's a lot of teams like mine. You know, there's teams that we're building across the United States. There's other organizations that we know and are more than willing to work with because we know these guys personally that are in this fight, and we need the public to know about what we're doing. We need the support from it. So my first step in this battle is to capitalize on that momentum. I want people to know what we do. I want people to know the truth about child and human trafficking. I want people to know what these kids are going through. And I want people to know about the agencies, government or civilian, that are involved in it. I don't care if it's the Sinaloa cartel. I don't care if it's MS-13. I don't care if it's the Crips, the Bloods, the Vice Lords. I don't care if it's the CIA, CPS, FBI, or Joe Biden himself. I want to expose it and let people know the truth about what's actually going on. And I'm doing that by capitalizing on the momentum that this film has brought to the subject. So after that initial attack, and we counter with everything we have in order to draw support and draw the public into what we're doing so they can say, hey, those guys, they were just defending themselves, and rally the public support behind what it is we do. The only thing that we can do is to wait on the second strike, because the fight's not over. And when that second strike comes, whatever it may be, we have to be able to adapt and improvise. We have to be able to turn and shift on a dime in order to actually counter whatever the second attack would be. Now, there's a lot of talk that the true intent is to try and to get people to microchip their kids. It's a possibility, especially with the rollout of CBDC coming here very, very soon. I could see that. I could see that being a play of the enemy. So, how do we counteract that? Well, we tell people the truth about it. We tell people just how dangerous it is. Tell people how by doing that, they've not only enslaved their child, but once they take that, they're going to be enslaved themselves to the federal government and whatever dictates they may mandate. It'll be no different than living in China. It's a dangerous thing. So we counteract that with truth. We counteract that by instructing people and teaching them about the truths of human trafficking, child abduction, organ harvesting, ritual abuse, the Finders program, and things like that. We teach them what to look out for. We train them on how to protect their children. And we do it appropriately so they are not fearfully pushed in to doing something as foolish as putting a microchip into their child. And after we do that, to me that's akin to me catching that second blow and using their momentum to throw them and put them on the ground on their back. But the fight's still not over. The enemy's always going to try a last-ditch effort. They're going to try and rise up. They're going to try and pull a blade or something like that on you. I can guarantee it. I've been around it enough and done it enough times. I've seen this in person. So what do? What's the third step? Well, the third step is to gain the actual evidence, and I mean actual evidence of what the people that are attacking this film and stuff are already claiming. How do we do that? Well, it's going to take a deep dive investigation. Memes ain't going to cut it, homie. It's really not. Yeah, they're cute, but they're fleeting. The reason being is they have no tangible evidence behind them. Think about it. Most people are very aware of the effects of AI at this point. How easy it is for an AI generator to forge a photo of an individual. Ron DeSantis used it in one of his first campaign ads where he was calling out Trump. That picture of Trump hugging Fauci and everything, where the hand's off, the text in the background's wrong and everything else. It looked a lot like Trump hugging Fauci, but that was actually grafted in by AI from the photo where Trump was hugging the American flag. Look at the lettering in the background that's on the wall. And you'll see it's completely off. It doesn't make any sense. It's like a bunch of gibberish. But AI can also create fake films and stuff too, so whatever we have has to be tangible. It has to be 100% proven. It has to be factual. You have to have actual video and photographic evidence of what's going on within these organizations, assuming there's any actual corruption there at all. You know? And until you have enough tangible evidence where you can actually convince the members of the public as to what's happening and to the truth behind what it is you're taking the fight to, then it's kind of a moot point. So my advice is to do your due diligence, do your due research, seek God, ask Him to open doorways so you can prove whatever you believe is going on. I mean, God knows if I catch wind of something shady going on with any of the organizations that we've socialized as or that we've heard of, you better believe that I'm not going to hesitate for a second to open an investigation into them. But I have to have the evidence in order to justify that investigation, not just some random meme on the internet of Mel Gibson or Jim Caviezel with a hand over one eye, because that's just not it. I mean, I'm not claiming that any of those photos are AI or anything, but a lot of them were of him or those guys in their very early career and whatnot, and they may still be involved in it. However, there's another possibility that no one's even talking about because they're so emotionally driven that their brain ain't working. And that's the fact. What if they repented? Now hear me out, because I know that's kind of a big what if. Most of the people that get into power and everything else, they want to remain there and they do anything they can and take orders from whoever's telling them to take orders. However, if somebody like myself can be given the opportunity by God to repent of my sins and turn to Him, how is anybody else any different? How would that be any different for Caviezel or Ballard or Gibson or anybody else? You know, do your due diligence, do your research, seek the Lord about it, because I guarantee you there might be 3 people that would know if these guys actually truly repented and converted to Christ, right? And actually started following Him. First and foremost, it's going to be God. The second person that's going to know about it is going to be the person themselves. And the third person that might know about it is the individual that actually led them to Jesus. The only third option that I see as a possibility where these men are coming forward, you know, and it's not manipulative tactic or anything, is if they've been exposed to so much over their career that they finally just said, you know what, I've had enough. You know, this stuff needs to be addressed, and that's a possibility too, but like I said, unless we've spoken with them personally, how do we know? I mean, truth of the matter is we don't. I hate not knowing. It drives me crazy. It drives me insane. The thing about it is, a lot of these comments and stuff that these people are claiming and talking about is all based in fear. What does fear stem from? It stems from not knowing. It stems from ignorance. The more you know about something and understand it, the less you fear it. And that's just a fact. So, guys, I'm going to try my best to keep this at least a little bit on the short side for you. But I at least wanted you guys to know what my viewpoint on this is, what my wife's viewpoint on this is, and how we're approaching this matter. We're approaching it logically. We're approaching it in our best efforts to be completely led by the Spirit of God. The problem with a lot of these people is they claim the Spirit of God is telling them this, and this, but it ain't the Spirit of God, it's their own emotions. We see that happen in Christianity all the time. And it's up to us to truly seek God, to truly trust God, to truly listen to Him. And even if, on the slim possibility, this whole fiasco is nothing but a product of the enemy, right? Like I said before, we got to take their momentum and use it against them. What the enemy deemed for evil, God can turn around for good. We all know that. It's plainly written in Scripture, and all throughout our lives, most of us have seen that happen. So the biggest takeaway I want you to walk away from this with is trusting God. I mean, truly trust Him, truly seek Him. Fast, worship, pray, read the Scriptures. Ask Him to lead you and guide you personally. Ask Him that if something nefarious is going on, that He would give you irrefutable proof and evidence of what is happening. Ask Him to expose the works of the enemy. He's faithful and He will do that. But until that happens, don't jump the shark. Alright? Because it can come back to bite you. I mean, that's basically grabbing a tiger by the tail here. Us Christians, the people that are involved in rescuing these kids, rescuing these women, rescuing these children, we need the momentum. We need the public to be aware of what's going on. So we need to be able to capitalize on this while we can. I'm online every day doing research and conducting investigations, and you know what I've noticed here lately? Since this film has come out, our ministry has had more support generated for us in 3 weeks than the last 3 years. Nothing fancy, nothing rich, because we just recently went public and we've been personally funding this here late, up until recently. We need all the support we can get, because it's reached a point now that we're trying to get things set up where we can trust the Lord to take care of us so we can do this full time. That's the goal. And we appreciate all the help we can get. But like I said, we've seen an exponential increase just since this movie's released, and people interested in finding ways to volunteer and help out with the ministry and get the training and stuff they need. We've actually had a couple of people come forward to make donations and things of that nature to try and help us out where we can. We're still praying for a mega donor to come through and give us a couple million. That way we can fund this for at least a couple of years where it's full time and we don't have to worry about our jobs and everything. But until God opens that door, we're going to keep fighting the fight the way we've been fighting it. And just trusting Him wholly. So like I said, guys, just don't jump the shark. Don't go making baseless accusations unless you have 100% tangible evidence and proof. That's all I'm asking. Alright? Join the fight. Do what you're can. But don't shoot yourself in the foot while doing it. Alright, guys? Alright, well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know this is a little bit different format than what we usually do. So I'm going to close this thing out. And, I might start doing something like this on a regular basis if you guys actually enjoy it. Let me know down in the comments if you like this format, if you think that Real Talk with Archangel should be something that continues on. And I'll do my best to address things that are somewhat controversial and give you our viewpoints on it and try and give you a firm, good Christian, faith-backed, biblically backed, God-backed stance on how we should navigate the waters that we find ourselves in currently. And as always, guys, if you want to help out, if you want to try and find a spot within our organization that you can be useful, then go to our website, hit the contact button up there, and do an application process. Now, we got to do it that way, guys, because I got to vet and verify everybody that tries to apply. All right, and sometimes that can take me a couple weeks to do it, so please have patience with me. All right, because I've got a full workload on me, not just from that. And if you would like to financially support us, which would be very much appreciated right now, because I'll be completely honest with you guys, my work situation is not very good at the moment. As a matter of fact, currently I am without a job because, well, to make a long story short, I was stabbed in the back on one of the contracts that I was working, so now I'm having to hunt and try and find work again. And like I said, we got bills due and everything else, so if you feel like helping out, that'd be great. If not, hey, look, I get it. Everyone's under a bunch of financial strain right now. But if you want to help out the ministry by donating, or if you just want to donate to us specifically, then just contact us on the website, click that donate button, do whatever the Lord leads you to do, give whatever He leads you to give, and that website is www.archangelministries91.com. Alright, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening to what I have to say. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down there. If you got questions or whatnot, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them in the comments, then I might just do a video on it. That way you can kind of figure out where my head's at. Alright, guys, this has been Archangel. I'm out.